Out there, in the frozen Arctic seas, some say a lonely ship still drifts through the fog. A rusted hulk of steel, creaking in the cold wind. No crew, no lights, just the whisper of ice against her hull, and a name painted in faded white letters. Baychimo. For nearly 4 decades, sailors and hunters told stories of a ship adrift, appearing suddenly through the mist, then vanishing again as if swallowed by the sea itself. They called her the ghost ship of the Arctic, a vessel that refused to sink, a ghost that haunted the frozen north long after her crew abandoned her. This is the unbelievable and true story of the SS Baychimo, the ship that simply would not die. We will trace her journey from a proud merchant vessel to a drifting phantom and uncover the unanswered question that still lingers today. Where did the Baychimo finally rest? The year was 1914. Europe stood on the brink of war, and the seas were filled with tension and opportunity. In a shipyard in Sweden, workers were putting the finishing touches on a brand-new steel cargo ship. She was first named Ångermanälven, after a Swedish river. Strong, dependable, and built to endure. When the Great War ended, the ship changed hands. In 1921, she was sold to the Hudson's Bay Company, the powerful trading empire that had been operating in northern Canada for centuries. The company renamed her SS Baychimo after a small Inuit settlement near today's Cambridge Bay in Nunavut. The Baychimo wasn't glamorous, she wasn't fast, but she was tough, made to haul furs, goods, and supplies across treacherous Arctic waters. Each summer, she set out from Vancouver, loaded with trade goods. Her mission was to reach remote northern settlements before the ice returned. There, she would trade with the Inuit for furs, precious pelts of fox, mink, and seal, before making the long journey south again. For the Hudson's Bay Company, the Baychimo was essential, a steel lifeline across one of the most unforgiving regions on Earth. And for years, she made her voyages faithfully. But in 1931, one of those voyages would become her last. October 1931. The Arctic winter was closing in early that year. The Baychimo, commanded by Captain Cornwell, had just finished trading near Cambridge Bay and was heading back toward Vancouver. But the weather turned suddenly. Freezing temperatures, violent winds, and the dreaded Arctic pack ice closing in fast. The Baychimo became trapped, completely immobilized, just off the coast of Alaska near Barrow, today known as Utqiagvik, the northernmost town in the United States. For sailors in those waters, ice was death. The crushing pressure could split a steel hull like glass. Captain Cornwell ordered the crew to prepare for the worst, to abandon ship if necessary. A temporary camp was built on the ice, where the 15-member crew waited for a break in the weather. Days turned into weeks. The ship remained trapped, encased in ice like an insect in amber. The crew began moving their cargo, valuable furs, off the ship and onto the ice, afraid she might sink at any moment. Then, on October 24th, a violent blizzard hit. The wind howled. Visibility dropped to 0. When the storm cleared, the Baychimo was gone. She had vanished. Some of the men believed she'd been crushed and sunk beneath the ice. But a few days later, an Inuit hunter reported seeing her still afloat several miles away. The crew trekked across the ice and, incredibly, found her. The Baychimo was battered, but still seaworthy. The captain decided she was too damaged to save. The crew retrieved what they could and evacuated, leaving her anchored in place. They built a wooden shelter on the coast and waited through the long Arctic winter, expecting the ship to finally go down. But when spring came, the Baychimo was gone again. That was the last time any human ever controlled her. From that point on, she became the ghost ship of the Arctic. The story could have ended there, a ship lost to the ice, one of hundreds claimed by the Arctic. But the Baychimo had other plans. Over the next 38 years, reports of a ghostly ship drifting through the Arctic began to emerge. In 1932, just 1 year after her abandonment, a group of Inuit hunters spotted her still afloat, trapped in the ice near Wainwright, Alaska. A year later, another group found her 300 miles to the east. Each time, witnesses described the same eerie scene: a silent, empty ship, drifting slowly through the fog, doors swinging open, metal groaning. No crew, no smoke from the funnels, only the whisper of wind through the masts. In 1933, a group of explorers managed to board the Baychimo. They found her surprisingly intact, her hull rusted but still strong. Inside were tables still standing, and even personal items left behind. The explorers spent 2 nights aboard, sheltering from a storm, before leaving her to the ice once more. When they returned a few days later, she was gone again. The sightings continued like clockwork. 1934, 1935, 1939. Every few years, someone would glimpse the phantom ship, drifting slowly along the northern coast. It became legend among local hunters, a ghost vessel that appeared from nowhere and vanished again with the mist. During World War II, the Arctic seas grew busier. Convoys and patrols occasionally reported seeing a derelict ship on the horizon, too dangerous to approach in the ice. Each time, her name could be seen faintly on the stern: Baychimo. Despite countless sightings, no one ever managed to recover her. In 1962, 3 decades after she was abandoned, a group of Inuit hunters spotted her once more, this time frozen in the ice near Point Barrow. They boarded her briefly and found the interior decayed but recognizable. The deck was littered with snow, her steel plates worn thin by decades of wind and sea. Amazingly, she was still afloat. The last confirmed sighting came in 1969, nearly 40 years after the crew left her behind. A group of Alaskan villagers saw her drifting westward in the pack ice, still upright, still resisting the ocean's call. And then she vanished forever. No wreck has ever been found, no debris field, no records of her sinking. The Arctic, vast and unforgiving, swallowed her whole. Or perhaps, as some whisper, she still drifts beneath the ice, waiting for the next thaw. The mystery of the SS Baychimo endures because it touches something deeper: the ancient human fear of the sea's secrets. Ships are supposed to have endings. They sink, they burn, they rest at the bottom, where divers or historians can find them. But the Baychimo refused closure. She lingered, a relic of an older world, haunting the Arctic horizon for nearly 4 decades. Why did she survive so long? Some say it was pure luck. Her hull built strong, her cargo holds sealed tight. Others think the frigid water preserved her, preventing corrosion and keeping her buoyant. And then there are those who speak of her as if she were alive, a spirit of steel and storm that simply refused to die. In 2006, the government of Alaska officially launched a search for the Baychimo's remains. They used aircraft, sonar, and satellite imagery, scouring the coast from Barrow to Point Hope. Nothing was found, not a single trace. To this day, no one knows where the SS Baychimo finally came to rest. Some speculate she sank quietly under the ice in the early 1970s. Others believe she may still be preserved in an undiscovered cove, sealed beneath frozen layers of time. But the legend remains alive. Every winter, When the Arctic winds howl and the sea fog rises, sailors still tell the story of a ship that appears in the distance, silent, ghostly, and alone, and of a name still painted faintly on her bow, Baychimo. Maybe she's still out there, drifting, forgotten, but not gone. A reminder that some mysteries, like the Arctic itself, are meant never to be solved. You've been watching Mysteries Retold. If this story left you wondering what else the sea might be hiding, subscribe and join us again as we uncover more forgotten tales, lost legends, and the secrets history tried to erase. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon. You never know what might be waiting there.